Hi, so this is my video discussion for cultural artifacts. So I read chapter 3, What is Culture by Cole, 2019. It says find one material object that represents your culture or who you are. And the object that I chose today would be this. This is something that is used in the Mexican culture. I'm not sure if it's just Mexico. Like, I'm not sure if other parts of like Latino America, like El Salvador, Guatemala, etc. I'm not sure if they use this, but in Mexico we use this, and it is called a molcajete. It says provide a visual of the object. So this is how it looks like. Does this object represent a culture, subculture, or counterculture? This represents culture for me, because in the Mexican culture this was used to make salsas. Not only salsas, but from what I know, from what my mom told me, they also use this if they didn't have like those big grinders to grind maize, which is corn, to make like masa. They would use this also. They would put like the maize in here and mash it by hand. But my mom doesn't use it for that. She uses it to this day for salsa. What cultural value, beliefs, or meaning does this object hold for you? It holds value because back then they didn't have blenders to, blend stuff. If, back then in Mexico, people needed to blend something, they would just do it all here. Like anything, like chiles. Like, for example, when my grandma, she's in Mexico, they didn't have blenders. So when she would make like pozole or mole, and they would have to like blend the like chiles de mole or chiles de árbol, they didn't have blenders, so they would have to do it like physically by hand. 3 key sociological terms or concepts from chapter 3 or 5 to connect to your cultural artifact. The first one would be value, a cultural standard for discerning what is good and just in society. Like I said, this is a standard. Now, I'm not sure if people in Mexico, because I haven't been there in a while, I'm not sure if they have blenders now, but I know back then this was standard for you to cook, because if you didn't have this, then there was no way for you to cook. This is also a symbol, a gesture or object that have meaning associated with them, that are recognized by people who share a culture. So, this object has meaning because it's kind of like the same thing as value. It has meaning because, like I said, if you didn't have a molcajete back then in Mexico, or even now, people in Mexico, they're not as fortunate as we are. They don't make money. It's like a very poor country. So maybe a lot of people from like poorer sides don't have blenders, so they have to use a molcajete. And the last key term that I would use is social control, a way to encourage conformity to cultural norms. So I know, like, if you're Mexican and now generation, like, this is not like a cultural norm, because your parents maybe didn't grow up like teaching you. Like, till this day my mom still uses this. Yeah, she'll use the blender for other stuff, but like if she wants to make like a salsa de molcajete, like an authentic Mexican salsa, she whips this out and she makes us the best salsa ever. So I think social control is a good way to, you know, connect my molcajete to, you know, if you didn't grow up and your parents like didn't teach you like a lot of things from Mexico, then maybe you're like, oh, like what the heck. But definitely this is, you know, this is normal in like the Mexican culture. Molcajete. Thank you.